Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the 1 week international conference on occupational safety, health, food safety, oceans, environment, climate change, well-being, and sustainable development 2023. Commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns, World Health Organization 75th anniversary year, and also commemorating World Environment Day 2023 with the theme Beat Plastic Pollution, and International Day for the fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing 2023, and World's Food Safety Day 2023 with the theme Food Safety, Food Standards Saves Lives, and also World Oceans Day 2023 with the theme Planet Ocean, Tides Are Changing, in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing, and all the collaborators, including Pure Earth Foundation, Global Information Technologies, Center for Environment and Development, Vishwavasudha Educational Society, Ishwara Prasada Ayurdalayam, Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development, and other national and international multidisciplinary fraternity and others. So we welcome you on the 6th day of 1 week international conference. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today we have two commemorations at national level, especially which is commemorated in the United States. Which is also related to health and well-being and also the environment. Today is commemorated as National EHS Awareness Day, which is observed every year on 10th June to raise awareness about electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome, in short known as EHS syndrome. Of course, there is a very little research done in this syndrome, symptoms and effects. So it is not classified as a medically diagnosable condition. But many international fraternity, doctors, scientists recognize the debilitating effects this illness can have on some people, and the syndrome is born out of increased sensitivity to the electrical environment, which can include mobile devices, Wi-Fi, and other electronics. And this sensitivity can only get worse as we incorporate more and more electronic devices into our lives. So especially these people have greater sensitivity towards these electronic devices and gadgets. And as we keep rising, as we keep increasing our dependence on the electronic gadgets, because of the low awareness that this condition can often go undiagnosed. People are left wondering for years what is the cause of their symptoms could be, as few even heard of EHS syndrome. Some studies have been shown that 1 in 5 people may have EHS, and it is fast becoming clear that the technology has many unwanted ill effects on people's lives. While its negative effects on mental health are well recorded, the physical aspect has been researched much. The social isolation many of us experience as a result of our dependence on these devices is also associated with depression, anxiety, sleep disorders. It also adversely affects ADHD and other learning disabilities. Post-COVID, we have seen cognitive deficits even with the normal population. People afflicted with EHS can display a variety of non-specific symptoms, which they attribute to electromagnetic field sources. Several studies have also shown biological effects at the cellular level, at EMF, at magnetic and radio frequencies in very low intensities. So many of these mechanisms described for multiple chemical sensitivity may also apply here with the modifications to the EHS. So repeated exposure could result in sensitization and consequent enhancement of response. A number of hypersensitive patients appear to have impaired detoxification systems that have become overloaded by extreme oxidative stress. Though this research is not yet conclusive, these are just preliminary information which we are sharing. There are many other studies that indicate the EHS individuals cannot detect EMF exposure any more accurately than individuals without EHS. So well-controlled and conducted double-blind studies have shown that EHS symptoms were not correlated with exposure to EMF. When we look back to the review of literature or research, the initial studies was in 1791, where Luigi Galvani, a professor at the University of Bologna, shows the presence of electricity in frogs through experiments. Even we, human beings, also have static electricity in our body. And the electronics history begins with the invention of the vacuum diode by J.A. Fleming in 1897. And the junction transistor is invented and goes on to win the Nobel Prize. And the transistor era has started since 1948. And Apple launches its famous iPhone and changes the game forever in 2007. So as we already discussed, the most common symptoms include redness, tingling, and burning sensations of the skin. Some other symptoms are fatigue, tiredness, concentration, difficulties, dizziness, nausea, heart palpitation, and digestive disturbances. EHS is mainly a self-reported condition and hasn't been proved by science completely. It is defined by unpleasant symptoms like headaches, pain, fatigue, etc., triggered by exposure to electronic devices. Recent research, however, has found no solid evidence that EHS exists, but still a lot of research is going on. So what you can do to block EMF in our life We can turn off our Wi-Fi routers when we are not using. And some routers even have built-in settings that can be programmed to shut down the Wi-Fi at the desired time and turn it on at a pre-programmed time. So avoid unnecessarily Bluetooth devices like wireless keyboards, mouse, microphones, headphones, speakers, and instead go for wired versions. And consider lowering your dependence on electronics, gadgets, deleting certain apps from your phone if you find yourself wasting too much time on them, and disable notifications. Also monitor your phone usage and try to cut down on the time if you find it to be high. Remember to look after yourself side by side while you are on no electronic gadget detox. All of our actions are interconnected, and eating better, drinking more water, and sleeping well can aid with your EHS recovery. And go out, being out in the open, surrounded by nature, is a great for your physical and also mental health. Long before electricity became a necessity, ancient Egyptians were aware of the lightning and shocks from the electric fish were incredibly powerful. These eels, fishes, they produce electricity and they give shocks also. The bulb is, which is the biggest one in New Jersey, which consumes the highest energy, is 14 feet tall and weighs 8 tons and just sits atop the Thomas Edison Memorial Tower. It is the world's biggest light bulb in New Jersey. And electricity can be generated using water, wind, sun, even animal waste or bio waste. We have seen various innovations are coming up and through thermal energy and various sources. Our nerve cells use electricity to pass signals to our muscles. These electrical impulses pass on the messages. In ECT, patients are given electrically induced seizures to treat psychiatric disorders, also known as shock therapy or shock treatment or electroconvulsive therapy. Especially you see commonly in movies, because not everyone will get an opportunity to visit this mental health center or, popularly known as mental hospitals. Maybe you have seen in certain movies, patients are given shock treatment. While EHS is not a medically accepted illness, there is no denying that electronic devices have a range of negative health effects. Using them too much can lead to and exacerbate depression, anxiety, loneliness, and obesity, among many other things. So given how ubiquitous phones, laptops, tablets, and other electronic gadgets and devices are in today's tech-obsessed world, it is crucial that we understand its effects better. So there must be more research and studies done in this field, apart from the ongoing research. And now we can't avoid electronics because they are everywhere. They are simply not getting away from, we are also not able to get away from electronic devices. Even if you want to, our school, college, work, offices, our lives all revolve around the computer or mobile and internet, while our social life centers are around the phone, because we engage a lot of into social networking. So let's try to have some digital detox and move into the nature and environment to take care of our health and well-being. Today, we are also commemorating one more important day, which is very much related to our theme, which is National Herbs and Spices Day in the US. And every year, it is commemorated on June 10th, and the world celebrates the rich diversity when it comes to often these tinsy flavoring agents, which are healthy and also have medicinal and aromatic properties, which nevertheless pack a punch. So since herbs and spices are cooking essentials, especially with Indian cuisines, it therefore makes complete sense that they are given a day of recognition for their contribution to the humankind and its culinary journeys thus far. And the great thing about many herbs is that they can be freshly grown in our own garden patches on our kitchen sill, and that's a great thing, to have a better option of eating our own homegrown produces. And there are also so many ways in which herbs and spices make all our lives better. So when we look at the history also, we have one of the earliest fans of spices and herbs, who was Emperor Charlemagne, around 742 to 814 AD. He was apparently so passionate about them, and then he put together a list of 74 different herbs and had them planted in his gardens. So Emperor Charlemagne himself had to say, herbs are the friends of physicians and praise of cooks. By the Middle Ages, the use of herbs and spices in both cooking and medication became common. Books like The Form of Curie, the method of cooking, began to emerge, which promoted the use of herbs extensively in the West. And modern day allopathy has its roots in the mixing of various herbs and medicinal plants to cure common ailments. In India, we know Ayurveda, which has been there since ages, and this Ayurveda is the only medicine that was ever known to the humankind since ages, from the earliest. So Ayurveda talks about so many herbs and medicinal plants and spices which can be used for various purposes. Even if you look at the pop culture today, some of the most popular music groups' names have been inspired by herbs and spices, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the Spice Girls, and many more. Even we see these pop culture bands, they have been named after spices. And of course, there is no need of introduction for about spices, especially for Indians, because the list, most popular herbs and spices, we know, are part of every kitchen in our households. And the list can vary across regions and cultures. But however, the popular ones are black peppercorns, cinnamon, either it is grounded or sticks, chili powder or chilies, chili flakes, cumin, and ginger, dried or fresh, grounded, nutmeg, smoked paprika or sweet, oregano, bay leaves, turmeric, and a lot more, just to name a few. So grow something which is always good for the environment. So it's a win-win situation for both us and also for the environment. So start your own herbal garden in your kitchen or in your backyard, front yard, or side yards, or on the terrace, or wherever there is some place for you. And also on this day, try to gain more knowledge about the spices and medicinal plants and how they can offer numerous health benefits. And also try to incorporate some into your diet, if not yet already part of your diet. And also there are various teas also, like herbal teas that are beneficial and delicious way to explore different spice and herb combinations. Not limited to cooking, herbs and spices have medicinal qualities that can help treat minor ailments. The best part is that all are natural remedies and homemade remedies and contribute largely to the Ayurvedic, homeopathic, and also allopathic industry now. And we have a large variety of herbs and spices around the world, makes us want to celebrate every cuisine and culture, as spices and herbs are common denominator in food everywhere across the globe. So with this, we shall conclude these commemorations. Then we will move on to invite our chief guest for the day. We have with us Professor D. Venkat Reddy Garu. He is professor and head retired from Department of Civil Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, Suratkal, Mangalore, Karnataka. And he is presently visiting faculty for School of Engineering, Reva University, Bangalore, India. And he is adjunct professor for Department of Civil Engineering, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Technological University, Raigad District, Maharashtra. And he is also editor-in-chief, International Journal of Earth Sciences and Engineering. He served as consulting faculty in L&T, Construction Heavy Civil Infrastructure, Chennai. And he has various academic qualifications to his credit, like he has MSc Geology, MSc Tech, Hydrogeology, and PhD Geology from Usmania University. And apart from that, he has a lot of academic and research credits. And he has presented various papers and publications to his credit. And he has undertaken various research projects like UGC research project, AICT R&D project, and MHRD R&D project. And he has various book publications like Industrial and Architectural Rocks and Stones, 2021, and Engineering Geology, 2016, Applied Geology, 2010, Engineering Geology for Gujarat Technical University, 2010, Decorative and Dimensional Stones of India, 1997, Engineering Geology for Civil Engineers, 1996, and he has various papers published in international and national journals. And the list goes on and on. So with this brief introduction, I would like to invite our chief guest for the day. And not last, but he also organized various seminars, workshops, training programs, international, national conferences. We invite you, sir, for accepting our invitation and joining us and gracing on this wonderful occasion of international conference. So we invite you for your session on soil formation, pollution conservation, and sustainable development. Over to you, sir, for your session. You can unmute yourself, start your video and presentation. Good evening, sir. We can see you. Namaskaram.
Good evening to everyone. Sir, can I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm thankful to Chandra and Ravindra also for the introduction. And my close friend Vikram, an outstanding person from IIT Bombay, now is in the USA. So he also joined here. So in future, I think we can also have some good interaction with our Professor Vikram Vishal. Today, I think we have a session, wonderful session, and it is the title has been selected from all levels. From environment, it starts from all spheres. So there is no limit from all interdisciplinary approaches. So the reasoning experts from all levels, from biological and also the geological, forestry, IMD, environmental, ecological, engineering aspects, every aspects. So I'm also very happy to know about the youngsters are participating. So environment is not connected to the single discipline. It is the multidisciplinary, and it is now it is not only environment, it is for the sustainable development. I think Dr. Vikram Vishal will also tell us about maybe any comments at this first. He's working very big projects for India also. Gas hydrated, gas sales, like that. Outstanding contribution. You know about how environmentally they're taking the lot of the interest in direction of all these things. So see it one by one. So Professor, I think Prasoon Singh will join up 6:30 from ISM. He's my close friend, and he called me. I think he's going department. So he's going to tell about the engineering sustainable development. He's from the environmental engineering department, IIT Dhanbad. So I will 2 minutes time is there. Okay. So the organizations of this one particular event, I'm very happy. I think the participants are very keen and they are asking so many questions. It's an interactive session actually. So this organization, I think it is a noble cause and no selfish thing. It is only for to development of the science, technology areas. We are also becoming members of that one. So let us see how best we can do for our youngsters. So anything development for youngsters they can utilize, they can use their technology in their respective fields. Today I'm restricting myself because it is the soils. So I think I can share my PPT, sir.
Yes, sir.
Share screen.
Continue. Yeah, you can share it from your side. You can click on share screen.
And
yes, sir. It's visible. You can make it full screen, sir.
very well. Any option is there? I think.
Yes, sir. That next to the slider, you are seeing one icon, sir, like our projector screen icon.
Zoom is there here.
This side, sir. Left side.
Left side.
The first icon, sir.
First slide. Okay. Hold.
Not there, sir. Here. This side.
Left side, right side, sir, for me.
No, for the slider is there, na, sir? Zoom slider.
English United
on the right side. On the right side.
1 minute. Notes, comments.
Yeah, next to that.
Yeah.
Right side, you have to go to right side. Just below English United States, the last icon.
Yeah, accessibility, sir, or the screen.
No, or else you can press F5, sir.
F5, that is better, na?
Ah.
Control names. Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Now it's finished.
Yeah. Good evening to everyone. So good morning to the participant from USA and other countries also. So today my presentation to soil formation and exploration, utilization and environmental ecological issues and its conservation and sustainable development. This is very, I think, the topics are more, right? It is we can do this some justification to the topics. So I'll give the insight into the starting point of view from the soil. Let will think about the other aspects. So you know about the all our developmental activities. This time I think the environmental day, I think India level we are celebrating the environmental days, about the earth days, or about the concentrating on the plastic pollution. So all experts are discussing about the plastic pollution, environmental issues. That also comes to that one. Let will see what exactly. I'll start from basics to the apply to the other areas. Many may not know about directly what is the soil. We live on the soils. We will develop on the soils. We will sustain. I think even we, I think, to be cremated in a soils also. So soil is one of the important aspects to be studied detail from how the soil is formed. So in geological applications, they say soil is formed from the rock weathering and physical and chemical disintegration. See about anywhere in the world, just you can put up your leg, you are putting on the soils. The soil will use a lot of inputs to everyone. Then soil will be studied in a different way. The soil is formed from the geological disintegration, rock formation. I will go in detail. I think some people non-geological may not be knowing about. The soil is product from the rock weathering. Then the agronomical purpose. Soil may be defined as the uppermost weather layer, organic layer, inorganic materials, and it is capable of supporting the life for agriculture produce. Because agriculture engineering, we are studying about the students for engineering discipline. They are in the agriculture engineering. This is one of the very important, for example. So they can study more about the soil engineering. The application is different. Then comes to civil engineering. Soil may be as a defined as a indurated accumulation of solid particles with the physical chemical disintegration of the bedrock may contain or may not contain organic life. Please try to understand. Soil is geologically form is different. It is a original. The soil scientists will differ their study. They will take about the supporting life. Civil engineer can design structure sustainable for infrastructure development, roads development, everything. Soil engineering. Soil engineering is very important. Nowadays, I think there are courses also there, geology and soil engineering. In IIT Tirupati already started last semester taken the class. So soil engineering and geology, one of the course. So soil is very important for us to understand about the geologists, civil engineers, and the environmentalists and their interdisciplinary nature. First, you can try to see here, see how the soil is forming. It's very important concept. You can see about the top soil to below. You can see the rock formations, weathered, clay particles. You can see development. So we can tell about these layers. What is the formation of this layer different? The soil formation is different. Soils formation will take many years, 100 to 1,000 years, soil formations. So the soil will depth profile, we can call soil layers is very important. Everyone must study. There is no alternative, no other things. Soil can be studied from the top level to below level. What are the different origins? Whether you are botany student, or it may be an environmental student, or it may be going for a civil engineering purpose, different way. But we have to know soil profile from the top to bottom, how they are formed, and what are the significance of soil formation. Then we can go for engineering applications, soil mechanics, and the rock mechanics. Then further studies of these engineering aspects also. You see the top soil. You see the top soil where you are staying. Then you can see the below the top soil. Then you can go to parent rock material, bedrock. This is the original rock formation. It is converted into parent rock materials, then weathered, formed into the soil, then from the top soil, where we are sustaining our life. You see different origins. Very greatly you can find about. You can see here why I'm using concept. How these rocks are highly weathered, they're forming. You see, these are called joints, fractures, and because there are many are non-geological people, that's why just I'm giving the explanation also. You see rock, the weathering alterations, the granules are taken place, liberated, soil formation. You see the top soil, our vegetation is started. The how soils forms, I not go in detail, just tell you the concept, but time is limited because the only 1 hour. Is the parent rock material. So when it is the rocks which are they form nature by depositional way, from the solid rocks are deposited, heated, are called weathering, transportation, and deposition. So it is called geological cycle. Anywhere you can walk on the particular areas, the top soil is deposited millions of years of age. For example, if you go to the Maharashtra region, Mumbai region, generally you can travel in Gujarat region, so almost the central India, you can see about the black sites. Why the black sites? Black sites are formed because of the magma or volcanic rocks. Volcanic rocks is also FeMg minerals. The FeMg minerals weathered, altered, form into black soils. The black soils are dominating this. That is the reason why the agriculturists in the Bombay and the central India region, they can go for cultivation of the commercial crops like cotton and other areas. Why? Because that is soil. Then comes to the other parts of the region like our Telugu speaking states like that. So like the Hyderabad region and Maharashtra, for example, the Tamil Nadu and the South India regions, we are getting about the red soils. Red soils are more from the rocks are different from granite rocks. The coast, we can get the coastal sediments. Go to North India, for example, like extraterrestrial areas, we are getting about different sites and different formations. So India is divergent in the formations, and we can the different soils are formed because of the rock type. I'm not going to judge it. Rock types are liberated from the soil and in situ condition. So we can't change. Now we are sustaining on the soils, we are developing, and we are all planning for the sustainable development. What is sustainable development? How to conserve, how to develop, whether engineering, civil engineering, mining engineering, or industry purpose, how we can plan, looking at the environment. So there is very difficult from the sustain environmental, ecology, impact, and because sustainable development, environmental has to work out because in working means the environment may destruct. But the destruction environment, how to recuperate, then how we can go for development. Now this is the thing, sustainable development, all research projects, India in the world, people are working for sustainable development in one of the areas. This is the rock cycle. The soil formation, the rocks, water fridges, some countries, some because we are the climatical regions. If you go to the northern hemisphere, again, you can see about the cold climatical conditions. I think India, you may not realize, to stay in USA, other Canada regions, and you can see about winter to stay, you can feel yourself how is the impact of this one. So you can see these soil expansions, then you can formation. You can see the soil, it forms the organisms, the topography top, climatical conditions, organisms, time, parent ring. These are the all materials, parent rock materials is related to form the soil. The top is organisms are living, including ourselves. Soil, forms soil geological cycle. You see the is different. Also gives support the climatical change. Soil form is not just a geological environment. Soil is taken millions of years of time, lot of changes, a lot of environmental conditions are resulted to form this one. If you go deeper into deeper levels, you can know about how the soil indicates about the even climate change also possible, because now I think or Vikram Vishal also may tell about the climate change. The soil is both are simultaneously working. There are many research projects ongoing. Even the soil engineering, soil type, soil geological studies they're going for. Even environmental, ecological is a past, present, futures can also going to tell that one. Even soil, whatever soil samples we brought from the moon, other lunar samples. So what they indicated about the what are the environmental changes taken places, how this form. So now I think you're planning many missions for the outer space. Next generation, we are going for to study about the extraterrestrial, astrogeological, astroengineering, astrogeoclimatical. That is the complete our research is ongoing for space and the ocean. These two things are left. Space, we are bringing about the many valuable minerals. You know about moon, we are planning, I think just few months, I think India is going to plan, I think, or the Chandra LED, I think not succeeded. Next time we expect. We are planning for to reach to the moon. What purpose? If students ask, sir, what purpose is go for a moon? Just for visiting or just for sighting? No, no. The moon contains about valuable minerals. That minerals are not available in India. And that's why I think the, how the moon is also nowadays, I think many countries they are already started occupying this space on a moon. This area belongs to like that. So India also is going to have about their own area terrestrial to find about the moon, and they can get about the territory and future generation from soils. That one we are going to bring about the minerals from the moon as a planet, because moon is the site one. From the later stage, from moon to again other planets we are going to plan. Why I am mentioning this one? Our research soil is not stopped on our the planet Earth. It is studying here. Then bio-environmental changes, soil and rock samples brought from the other planet give supporting biogeochemical environment when they form, how many years are formed, and what are the climatical conditions. The many experts are there, geological, geochemical, astrogeological, many experts because behind our country. So that's why USGS are there. I think many research projects are going developed countries, and they're all work together. Their research projects in multi-dimensional areas. So this is climate change. Climate change you don't expect only from weather pattern. Even rocks also, soil also will tells you, indicates about how the climate change brought the samples. You see, beautiful. This you can enjoy this from top to bottom. So from here to here, the top soil, bottom soil, you can see the how nice it is formed by the geological process. Then 2015, I think Inner Soils, the year they celebrated in the international United Nations, then come out about the give the concept. Good publications also available. Students can get from the lot of areas also. Then if we take into our India consideration, you can see the India because we are here. The station, other people can also say about their own country also. The soils are, you can see, not only politically, you can see the soils are so different. See the starting from Jammu Kashmir to up to the Kashmir also, you can see the soils are green soils, alluvial soils, red soils, laterite soils. The coastal region are lateritic soils, and you can also get coastal soils. So laterite, a lot of problems are there until later stage in the next sessions when come about. So India having different soils. You see the percentage of soils from here to here, the different soils. Soil types, alluvials, forest soil, they're classified. In soil formation, you see soil formation, the interior, the many things, for example, will form, and you can also generate the formation of the soil. The civil engineering applications. So for all geotechnical application, civil engineering application, mining application, environmental application, anything, soil is one of the important. So unless soil studies are surveyed, no developmental activity cannot be taken. Now I think all our civil engineering, the surveys now, geotechnical investigation, they're planning for sustainable development. Sustainable development. Now they are insisting how environmentally developmental civil engineering exploration to be followed. Now each stage they are starting now. File investigation, they'll go in detail. I think when I'm working at L&T also, we investigated many projects. So we've collected the soil sample in situ conditions. Okay. So then we'll assess the soil formation. You can see the soil formation here, developmental activities. The top soil different, different soil different. So we can't develop such a way only on the basis we have to know soil conditions, soil bearing capacity, soil texture, the sustainability also differs. You can see the soil, the hard rocks are there. Then you have to find about depth, how much of depth, what penetration, what soil is there, what conditions, because the soil is the topmost soil to bottommost, how depth, and there are engineering problems only differs. Then the sustainable also development. Nowadays, all planning for developmental activities, the sustainable development of the projects are now insisting. You see, we can see top very clearly. This is one type of horizontal strata. You can also see the infiltration and also other the areas. You see this is the soils. You can also feldspar rings, and you can also top to top soil. We are also working here top to soil. So it is very tedious, very difficult to assess. Not so simple as we discuss here. Soil conditions, soil things, soil environment understanding, and then can go for a different borehole logs, then identification, then comes that. Then go for a developmental activities. The soil is life for us, anywhere. So why I mention here, because pollution is everybody now, very simple pollution is taking place. But where the pollution is taking place? Pollution is taking place to soil. Any plastics or environmental or anything reaching to soil. Just to know the soil condition. How the pollutants are reaching to the soil, then how soil is affecting. What is geological knowledge, geotechnical, soil engineering, soil mechanics role to play with the infiltrated pollutants. This is the multidisciplinary research areas. Not so simple. So understanding first rock from geology, earth is formed. From earth, rock is formed naturally. From rock is formed different rocks. Rocks are weathered, altered, formed the soil. The soil is sustained development and you can development taking place. And this development of soils, you can see about the various aspects. That's why I given about from geology to civil engineering, and I'm going to the ecological environmental areas. There are, I think, many experts also there because they I'm not experts in the soil areas or environmentalist. You can see the different pollutants, the lead, the coal, pesticide, bacteria, everything. I think you know about even soil. Even if you walk on the soil by your foot or anything, that also may affect the soil. Soil is so sensitive. Please try to understand. Just like I think a flower, if you touch flower, it will be so soft. So soil also so soft, and even if you walk on the soil, do anything, you can explore, put explosives or mining, even walk down also soil will be impacted. So soil is so sensitive. Then we can dump many areas. This time I think the concept are given about the plastics, plastic. Many plastic is how the plastic is formed and how plastic is nowadays taking place. Nowadays nanotechnology developed. So much of the development is they're using plastics more. And simultaneously they developed different type of technology to how best they can use. You can see the soil, there's the plastics, the plastic waste generated in India. We take about, I'm not considering other countries, India, Delhi, Calcutta, Ahmedabad ranking in the top cities developing the plastic waste. Then even burning, you can see plastic, grass burning, and they can have using about the unconventional way. A lot of the emissions are taking place. Then you can see about the marine life. Plastics are reaching to the marine life, marine environment. I think when it comes to any time next, we can see about we have to taken about, I think, about the 75% about the oceans. And the ocean is more even today. Then the water environment leading to the oceanic environment leading to the pollutants reaching to the organic life. That is very important. And you may not know about our life is started from biogeochemical environment of rocks and that one. Somebody asked for how we are generated. I'm not telling about the human life. It is the God-given gift, different issue. But scientifically, they are given that one. The life is evolved from environmental of the things of the started. If we take a study about geology, there is no life when the earth started. Then it started by the unicellular organisms, then multicellular organisms, like the reptile, like that one. And how this actually is about biogeochemical environment, minerals, or that one, I think that created up the life. Now we are taken up that. Then it is marine environment. Large scale of environmental issues are going to come to the marine environment. So our earth is covered more. And next generation, mention next generation, we are going to go for only oceans because minerals, sustainability, I think oil and natural gas, gas hydrated cells, many deposits are there in the ocean. Still manganese nodules. Still the ocean not explored. Next generation, ocean exploration, ocean environmental issues are coming. Whether to go to ocean, even for information, even the lands are not going to get up on the land. Next generation, we are going to stay. Our infrastructure facilities can be on a ocean. Land is not available. We are going to stay on a land. This is a plan. I think you know about Japan, Osaka International Airport. Osaka International Airport is completely constructed in ocean because Japan is a very small country, just like like Telangana state or Andhra Pradesh state. This much in the state of Japan. The land is very small one, and volcanoes are available, and a lot of problems. Then no land is available, so they made it the Osaka Island in the ocean. The geosynthetically they put all the materials thing and exploratories. They made a beautiful runway. If you land from the flight, you can see about we are landing in the ocean. Big constructions, multi-dimensional constructions are taken from ocean. That means future we are going to develop into ocean and to residential complexes make up because no land is there. Why we go? It has to go for oceans. Next we can go to other plan, different issue. The ocean land is there, more 75% land still not developed. Then environmental issues as well comes to the oceans also. You can see the ocean pollution, plastic ecosystem, and you can see the impact, wind, deposition, floods, irrigation, municipal waste, soil contamination. This slide I am going to share to the organizers. They can give to you afterwards. You can go through that one. The effects of plastics, you can see water pollution, soil pollution, groundwater pollution. So here also groundwater, he has to know about hydrology. What hydrology? Porosity and permeability. Many may, I don't know about what is porosity, permeability. Any white spaces in a soil rock, the white spaces are called porous. How much of liquid water or pollutants will be reached to the soil or rock particles? Okay. Once reach that one, then how will it transfer? Because just it is stops, it not substance. It has to percolate. It's called permeability, capacity to transmit of the water liquid to reach to the ground. Permeability. Porous permeability effect will reach to the pollutant reach to the undesired levels. Water also can reach this one. Even for example, the island natural gas also we can use about the porosity permeability of the shale areas. So pollution may not take place as you think about. No. It is depends upon the soil texture, soil nature, soil geology, soil engineering, soil mechanics, soil hydrological. So many branches of the required soil. Please try to understand how the interdisciplinary of the soil formation that will depend on that. Not just adding, this is the difference. See, effluents reaching soil ecosystem. See, when you go for a site investigation, so I also found about soils for tunnel excavation, underground excavations, even from the top bottoms. Nowadays, we are using about the latest sophisticated technology using GPR technology, ground penetration radars, drilling. Then nowadays, all systems nowadays, all software systems are available and now using our engineers already. Then artificial intelligence also using in L&T, like that L&T, Tata Consultancy, many big projects or industry people already using about the all data systems, the programs. Then what is the problem? Whatever problem you can use, whatever use, because when you support the investing on support, soil texture, soil nature, soil investigations, you can find about investigate comes about. They can use our knowledge takes time, can use the artificial intelligence, come out, then all data will come. Then who is going to take the decision? You have to take the decision. Whether the software system or development things, artificial intelligence gives all the clues information. But the final decision you have to take, that is where you have to play the role. So in soil investigation, using for soil contamination, soil investigation, that's the reason why, because now the developmental activities, mining, civil engineering, island as exploration, drilling, every various, all these types of the developed the technology they're using is not connected to one software engineers. Software is using to all disciplines to find about the, because we are getting more information. Data get easily transferred and finally established. Same thing happening. So the planning for major investigation. This is the latest research. Soil investigation. You can see soil investigation, lot of things. Is the soil type of pollutions, hydrology. Then you can see the roads are flat. The roads are completely highly weathered. Some areas and landslips are taken place. About the some of the experts like IIT Bombay did a lot of work on the particularly about landslides, landslips. They've developed many things about this one. I think later the experts can give that one. You see the layer, soil erosion, using displacement strata, collapse of the buildings, structure. See, this is the one of the most important area in ecological areas. So it is the Konkan Railway. Then the large scale of the soil. This is the lateritic soil. Konkan Railway, West Coast. I have already mentioned the environmental ecologically West Coast of India is having about the lateritic soil. Lateritic soils are not stable because we have developed the railway line, because these are leads to the soil landslips that taken place. Site investigations, and we can also go for a very detailed the topographical surveys. So suppose you are planning for any environmental issues, he has to go for, suppose you are working in this area, then he has to procure the topo sheet of the region. You can find out the areas, even for environmental issues also. I think it want to go study environmental impact assessment of the region. Then he has to take about the topo sheet of the region and find out where you are in the air and what topographical elevations, how they are impacted. So this is the lot of things has taken place. I don't know how many are we knows about topo sheets. Then India, we are making about the large scale of development, the roads, and a large scale of the soils investigation they done. Is the national highways are developed, their impact on soil. Now I think the government is insisting you can go for the eco development, because now National Highway Authority, I think they're taking the developmental activities, about ring road or regional ring roads are coming, but he has to plan for this one. You see the coastal cities. You see the particularly in case of the when you are going for the coastal areas. So developmental activities are differs. Then again the coastal economic corridors are made, because they study very different coastal economic areas. So railway lines planning important, and you can railway lanes are planned. The future railway lanes are coming. The large scale of the environmental issues, soil condition they are studied about. Now I think this is the dedicated freight corridor also coming exclusively from the connecting to eastern sector and western sector. Then we are planning for the high speed railway lines, and it is Bombay to Ahmedabad connecting. It's the high speed line. You know about, they studied recently about ecological issues, soil conditions, and that is corridor underway. And United States, other areas also going because the development activities, high speed light. See, this is the line. There are many several issues came. Why mention this one is the ecological issues also came, environmental issues also came, and soil issues also came. Now this is the Ahmedabad to Bombay is connecting. It's almost working now. So they are the alignment projects. So soil environmental. So when you take the soil, the environmental from the top layer to bottom layer, these are different investigations. Texture, structure, permeability, soil depth. These are all required for to assess the soil physical properties. Texture, very important. Then you can go for the soil texture, the clay type, grain size, you have to manage. And even soil texture plays very important role for the pollution to move. Whether you go for investigation, pollutions, water, textural, soil pollutants. So soil is very important to plan everything. The texture, you can see soil, you can see the grain size, compactness, weathering conditions, soil environment. See the top one, the top soil, bottom soil, ABCD layers. We have to know each one for environmental issues, ecological issues, sustainable development. There is no shortcut to soil structure you have to study. See, this is the soil, how beautifully you can see the soil is formed. And even for planning for any type of investigation, you have to see about the soil depth. We studied with penetration, soil structure, even the cricket pitch. We are seeing about all cricket matches. They will develop like this. They dig it, they put the soil, they make different textures, then cover. This is the cricket pitch. You can see backside. The conditions and pitches that one. So when a cricket ball plays on that one, it will be turned. Many people tell the experts use cricket pitch, they give the expert. But what they are telling about how the cricket ball will move, on what basis? On soil. What is soil? Soil is geological environment brought from the areas. Even if you are refill the soil, that is the mineral soil from that. If you change the soil texture, the physical movement of will change. That's why the cricket playing in Bombay, soil will differs. Cricket playing in Hyderabad differs, or maybe other areas. So that also the technically is connected, not with the geographically. This is soil conditions, soil nature, soil type, making of the soil features that also develops. So the soils, permeable, semi-permeable, soil profiles, you can see the how soil is affecting top soil to bottom soil. Say the environmental impact preparations. Environmental impact assessment must for to get the project clearance. What projects? There are some projects also there. State pollution control will give. Some will give the Central Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change of India. So any environmental impact assessment has to get the environmental clearance. Then has to report. Then environmental management plan, EIA, environmental impact assessment, environmental management. So how much of destruction soil is taking place, ecosystem is taking place, then how much of, then what best you can do. All he has to study. Soil conditions, water holding capacity, rock fragments, and the clay formations. Even now India is available. Soil weathering maps are available. You know the how soil is the different soils are formed. These data use are available, and you can also use for research purpose this one. This is a rock soil, volcanic rock formations from the basaltic rocks, rock fragments. So you can see how soils are forming. The lateritic formation soils they are formed here. Shells also deposited. You can see beautifully on the top soil, bottom soil, clay soils, and shrinkage. You can see big problem. The clay particles. Shrinkage will give support the voids and a lot of plasticity index. And the shrinkage impact buildings also sometimes collapse. Apart from the environmental impact, the shear failures, retaining walls will go back. Mechanism, you can see failure of surface. It depends upon the nutrients, soil pH, salinity, same chemical properties. Suppose soil properties whose studies can go very critically to assess everything. Chemical properties, the soil behavior, soil erosions, growth, engineering behavior, liquid. It has to go for every step analytically. Then even for climate, it has to go in for the climate data. Pollution impact, important. Soil erosion, you can see soil erosion, detachment, transportation, position. These are the topography of the region. Pollutant starts, soil travels. So why I given so much of things? Don't think sir, plastic pollution is just not plastic pollution not taking place. Plastic pollution depends upon the soil. Soil depends on soil texture, soil formation, then engineering properties of soil, hydrological properties of soil, hydrogeological properties of the rock formations. These all will influence us to move the water, soil, pollutants, even for formation of oil and natural gas, all will depends upon these parameters. So these are interrelated. And not only soil degradation, very complicated. You can see soil degradation, road is completely eroded. Why? Because the soil, the road conditions are very bad because of the conditions of the highly weathered conditions. Mass movements, failure slopes, soil contamination, in the general view, and feasibility studies, monitoring programs, in urban development, waste, forestry, mining, coast, every areas are available. Common soils, landscapes, erosion, sedimentation. You see the different countries also forming their respective environmental registrations also there. India also started in 1986 now. Now I think they modified our environmental impact assessment. You go to Ministry of MOEF website, you're going to get all the data freely available. You can get all the data from Indian point of view. So management, you see you start from the particular year, feasibility studies, environmental baselines. Once the environmental baselines comes about, so any project they can get required public consultations and participation. I think many may not knowing because why? When the national highways are making or developmental activity going on, but the government insists the local people also must be known, their views also be taken. So the administrators, environmentalists, they can explain about what developmental activity taking place, what is the damage of the environmental system, what ecology, what is the compensation of they're going to get. So they all has to be taken the consultation and has to submit to the government of India to get the clearance. So pollutions, So recommendations of the soil pollutants. You can see what conditions are taking place. These are the few references because I wanted to stick to the 7:30 because 7 minutes were left for because Professor Prasanna Singh is going to participate. These are the references. So I want to the brief discussions if time permits. So I just conclude. So I given the soil pollution. So my concept is given to young scientists, young engineer students or science students. What is a soil? How it is formed? What are the geological conditions? Geological conditions. So how geological conditions are formed the soils from the rocks. So soils are deposited all over the world, all our countries also, based on their environment. So pollution's impact is mainly depends upon the soil nature, particularly in case of the even groundwater, surface water contamination, subsurface water conditions also depends upon the soil nature. So groundwater pollution, groundwater pollution, how the water pollution is adding to the soil. The soils are impacted. Pollutions are the porosity, permeability, hydraulic conductivity, or this one leading to reaching to the ground subsurface. Then groundwater going to contaminate it. Many industry areas, groundwater contaminated. Why? Because pollutions traveling surface through which basin? River basin. Next is soil. Soil rocks, soil only infiltration is going and taking place down bottom layer, then pollution starting. So that's why I mentioned to all this one, the any pollutions on the surface environment, chemical pollutions, industrial pollutions. The soil is playing important. He has to know about the basics of the soil conditions, soil formation, soil deposition, soil contamination, whether a pollutant, industry pollutions, organic pollutants, plasticity, plastic pollutions. Nowadays, I think all investigations are required for the areas. And then he has to go for we can't develop any project just as it is. Then he has to government wants about what are the environmental impact assessment of your project you are done, or service you are done. And particularly they go for environmental issues, how they are going to experts, science scientists, biologists, engineers, earth scientists, then how it is impact. Then what are the recommendations are there? What are the environmental management taking place? Environmental taking place. So this all will be taken place. So my concept is soil formation, soil genesis, types of soil in India, other countries, their formations, soil textural parameters, soil chem study by the agronomist, soil chem of the biology students, soil chem of the engineering students, soil chem study about the mechanical soil mechanics. Soil mechanics is a very important subject in civil engineering. Unless soil mechanics are not concerned, no developmental activities. Then the soil is very important for even for the prospecting of mineral deposits. From the Earth, we are studying, we are going for the other planet studies or oceanic studies, ocean environment also polluting. Now, tomorrow you are going to study and stay on the ocean also. I already given about ocean, you are already started the construction. Space, you know about space also going to build the buildings. Ocean also going to build in the building infrastructure. Space is possible because there is no gravity, it's possible to construction. So the developmental activities not only think about the land, environment, ocean, other planets. These are the because has to sustain many areas apart from looking about the environment. These are the few discussions. Any Vikram Vishal can give any comments. Thank you very much. The time is limited.
Thank you, sir, for the
Yes, sir.
wonderful presentation.
Because exactly I wanted to 7:30, just stopped here.
Yeah, actually the session is allotted for 1 hour and we have a couple of minutes for discussion.
Yeah, that's right.
Additionally, so that we can have one.
So one of our participants, Vikram Nishal, is there from USA. I wanted him to give his any comments on this one.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're in.
Yeah, actually, I was trying
Just
to
you can
unmute, but I could not.
Tell yourself, Vikram Nishal, I think.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for a very insightful talk, sir. Thank you so much. It was very, very interesting. And so I'm sorry, I'm currently not in India. I'm in US. I'm on a visiting tenure at MIT. So I'm not, I cannot join, be in India, but yeah, it's morning for me. So thank you, very, very insightful talk. I had just one, maybe a suggestion that I need from you. Often when we are doing research in the lab, sir, we are confined to the laboratory works, but soil pollution and the degradation of the environment is such a social kind of a thing also, which needs involvement. So nowadays, for every project, we talk about environment, social and governance, ESG aspects. So how do you think, sir, that scientists should, particularly, the younger scientists or, middle level scientists should have that kind of an outreach where we engage with the society and educate them about these things and what should be done for that regard, sir? That's my, maybe a question to you, sir.
Yeah. So even I think, about you are involved about the good projects also. The interdisciplinary subject, I think our processing also, I think, is coming to SBN college, I think, more about. So the interdisciplinary nature, even I think you have done gas hydrated shales, a lot of studies also you've done. You're outstanding. I think India's biggest project you are now running in IIT Bombay. So, about the soil studies are very important, just not only just for the pollutant studies, sustainable development, even for future sustainable development, I also mentioned what you have mentioned in the correct pictures also. We can plan accordingly. Interdisciplinary research, we have to plan for our developmental sustainability, impact assessment, reduction of this environmental impact, pollution to be limited. No, this is the multidisciplinary. We can't say that one. It is the multidisciplinary approach. That's why I think now we are in USA. About you are working for multidisciplinary approach also. So I think he can also suggest in further. So
yes, sir. I think these topics are so interdisciplinary. My personal background was in geology. I did partly PhD in civil engineering, and you have been my mentor, sir. And then postdoc in chemical engineering. So it's very interdisciplinary. Nowadays, science transcends boundaries. But yeah, this knowledge has to transcend. That's the thing. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting, and it was really nice to listen to you.
Okay,
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Yes. I think now time is Prasoon can join, I think.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Hello, excuse me, sir. I have one just namaskar. Namaskar. Sir, one thing I just want to add at this moment, because then I will move to my own topic. See, we environmental engineers, generally what we are doing, we are taking the soil as just a litmus test in environmental cases.
Yes.
So, how I am just briefing in a very small way, in a very brief manner, that when we are getting some of the heavy metal concentration in surface water as well as in groundwater, then we are suppose we are getting some concentration in surface water sample and some concentration in groundwater sample. Just for checking the concentration of those heavy metals, whether that is by the anthropogenic sources or by the geogenic sources, we are just doing the physicochemical characteristics of the soil sample. That soil sample gives us a very correct idea whether the your pollutant is coming from the groundwater, going to the groundwater or going to the surface water. So soil acts really a very very used way in the environmental study.
You can tell, sir. Pradhan also there, I think, as a participant. I think, can you give any comment on Pradhan from
yes, sir.
Roorkee, IIT Roorkee? Pradhan?
Sir, actually, they need to allow to unmute because sometimes it's not allowing us to unmute ourselves.
Yeah, I think.
While session is going on, we have restricted, but now when the session forum is open for Q&A, they can unmute us.
Okay. So maybe Pradhan can unmute himself now.
Yeah.
Just
Dr. Pradhan, you can unmute yourself. If you need a video access, we'll. Yeah, you can switch on your video also.
Yeah. Namaste, Pradhan ji.
Namaskar. How are you, sir?
How are you? Fine? Here from the IIT people have done a lot of work. Prasun Singh also there. And Vikram from USA. You are from the Roorkee also.
Yeah. So it was very, very nice lecture, right? On World Environment Day. That was on June 5th. And your topic is very, means how the soil interaction and how this environment affect this. That is really, really very good. And I congratulate you on this nice presentation and lecture, sir.
Further programs, I will organize. I'll insist you to your areas can be also presented depending upon the topics. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Mainly I do work on landslide and also in carbon sequestration. That is also related to this environment. Yeah. And nowadays you have seen that because of these extreme events, the landslide activities or the landslide frequency of landslide that has increased in many parts of the world, including Himalayan region. So that is also a very good topic if you relate the climate and the frequency of landslides. That can be done. Many work has to be done there.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. I think organizers can switch on to the next. Prasun Singh is waiting. I think you also know about Prasun Singh and a lot of good interaction about Professor T.N. Singh in IIT Bombay also, and a lot of work. And he's from Environmental Engineering Department. So that's requested into sustainable development is going to start. Sir, I think we'll switch on to the organizers. Ravindraji.
Thank you, Professor D. Venkat Reddy ji, for enlightening us with this
Yes,
very important topic. Without soil, starting from soil, we cannot move ahead. So that's a very important topic we have taken up, and it's an excellent presentation. And before we quickly move on to our next session, let's invite a few queries. So we have few messages in chat box. And anyone else would like to share before we take up queries in chat box? You can raise your hand and you can unmute yourself one by one. And you can share your observations or queries. Yeah, Mary, you can unmute yourself.
And now I think it will continue Professor Singh ji. I think we'll share the lot discussion points. That's better.
Yeah. We will just.
Because time is short.
Yeah. Okay, then we will do one thing, sir. Anyway, you are there, so we will take up Q&A after.
Yeah. Let Singh. After you both will join, myself and Singh. So we'll join together for both questions.
Yeah, that would be better. So thank you, sir. We wish you all the success. Now we will move on to our next session for the day. We have with us Dr. Prasun Kumar Singh. He is Associate Professor and also in charge for Land Use and Hydrology Laboratory, Department of Environmental Sciences and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad. And he has various academic credits to his academic profile, and he has postgraduate in Environmental Science and Engineering, doctorate of Environment Environmental Hydrology, and he has almost 2+ decades of various experiences working at various positions. He worked for 14 years as a research fellow and scientist in Environmental Management Group, CIMFR, CSIR, Dhanbad, and he is also member of various international associations and organizations like International Association of Hydrological Sciences, Institute of Hydrology, and various international and national associations. So with this, and he has, to his credit, various presentations, publications in various national and international journals and publications, books. Without taking much time, now I welcome you, sir, and thank you for accepting and joining us on this international conference to take over for your session on scientific issues of rainwater harvesting in water resource management. Over to you, sir.
So thank you very much, sir, for good evening to all of you. I am really very feeling proud that Professor D.V.R. Reddy sir has yesterday evening just asked me to have one lecture on some relevant topic related to our World Environment Day or environmental issues. So really, I am very much, I have tried my level best to give you one of the important issues, because we are also we have celebrated your World Environment Day in our Dhanbad district. Dhanbad district is one of the coal mining belt district. Its another name is coal capital of India. So few of them are perhaps really aware about this. So with this brief, sir has given brief introduction about me. We are working here in the IIT ISM Dhanbad, and especially in the environmental engineering department. So many environmental works we are carrying along with our students, as well as the projects from the government of India and other industries. But the topic which I had chosen yesterday night after discussion with Reddy sir, that just monsoon has knocked the door of the Kerala also, so it will very it will come to our place or different places of the Indian subcontinent. So rainwater harvesting, nowadays it has become very common topic for every industry, every places. But what we have noticed that some issues, scientific issues are required before the placement of the some recharge pits or construction of some trenches for the conservation of the groundwater resources. So with this brief introduction, I will just move to my slide. Just we will go one by one and we will see what issues are required for the your rainwater harvesting purposes for the conservation of the groundwater resources. I am not aware about the other places, but especially in the Dhanbad district, what we have noticed, I will show you some slides also, that it is a coal mining belt in one big mega boundary fault is passing, and left side of the MBF is your sedimentary terrain, whereas right side is the metamorphic terrain. So in the sedimentary terrain, generally we are getting the coal seams at different depths of the Earth's surface. So the aquifers, the local or regional aquifers, they have become destructed. So just we will, just I am sharing my screen and I will move through one by one. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, so with this background, just we are what we are noticing here. I have told you we are in the coal mining belt, and in general in India also that water, the water table of every location has gone down. So since it is the lifeline of India, food and drinking and water security, so it has become your important to each industry also, each places also, that there should be some method through which we can replenish the underlying aquifers. So for this, generally people everywhere I am also visiting to some industries. They are proposed to, sir, we want to have the rainwater harvesting system. They have already constructed some pits, but without any scientific studies, if it is being done, it will ultimately fail and it won't fulfill the purpose. So this has become one of the important topic in the present day environmental scenario. If you will see the major coalfields of India, I am lying in the, you can see the Jharia coalfield is in Dhanbad district, one of the oldest coalfield of India. And besides this, there are several coalfields in the different parts of the country. Here, the Jharia coalfield, you can see one river, Damodar River is crossing here. Damodar River is one of the major river of this area, which is just fulfilling the needs of the water to the nearby inhabitants. So nearby inhabitants are getting water. You can say because groundwater is very great depth, so it's very difficult to just tap it out. So they are generally dependent on this Damodar River. But the worst side of this Damodar River is that it is a monsoonal river. After few months of the monsoon season, it will just become dry, and then it's become very difficult even in the month of January or December to get water in the entire this Jharia coalfield region. You can see this area, this area, our Jharia coalfield area is having the two important problems also, one of fire area and other of subsidence. These are the two very, very important problems, or these are just putting difficulties in the extraction of the coals underneath the earth's surface. So this fire and subsidence is also destructing the underlying aquifers. So, and these are few of the slides. I will show you how much scarcity of groundwater people are feeling, or the residents of the Dhanbad district are feeling. You can see the people are just waiting for the water supply. The water is coming about 50 kilometer distance. That is one dam is there. From there, the water is coming at some time, and they are just fulfilling their your utensils. So these are the problems of the groundwater. They are having even some. You can see in the morning hours, some people are quarreling also because of getting the water. Here in this, I have told you, in mining areas, people are dependent on the surface water sources. And the surface water source, only source is the Damodar River, or through the Damodar River, some small tributary or nallas are there. So in those nallas or tributaries, usually they are washing the clothes or just taking their bath, etc. So in this way, one more thing you are seeing here, that they are taking out the coal, and the coal they are just burning to make it proper, and then they are going to sell this coal to somewhere else. So this also, besides the water pollution, we are also facing the severe air pollution effect in our district. Now, you can see these are some of the slides which are showing. Yes, this is very interesting slide, because the person is just taking the water from the some river sources or some pond sources, and from there they are going to buy these tanks to some nearby very good multi-storied buildings having full of marble and tiles, for not for potable purposes but for other purposes, because people are buying it also. So in this way, this water scarcity problem is now it has become a national problem. Not only it is regional, it is national problem. In India, we are having several states, as per the CGWB or Ministry of Jal Shakti report, several states, the water scarcity problem has come out. And for solving this water scarcity problem, we are having only and only one source, and that is the rainwater harvesting structure. Otherwise, since the main source of the water on the earth's surface is the rainwater, so this is the only way we have to collect those amount of rainwater. People are collecting, no doubt. At present also, people are collecting this water. They are storing it also, but they are not properly doing their first study, that is the scientific studies related to the construction of any recharge pit for the conservation of the groundwater resources through the rainwater. So this is the problem. Anyway, most of you, we are familiar with this hydrological cycle. Just I have given you to recall that on the Earth's surface, upon the Earth's surface, we are having the rainwater, the single recharge source, nothing else, only the single recharge source. And just our Professor D.V.R. Reddy sir has told you, the soil plays very, very important role for the this recharge pit structure also. Because see, the raindrop, first it moves down to the earth surface, which generally we are telling it infiltration. So first layer of the soil just receives the first raindrop until it becomes saturated. So this is infiltration. And when from the first layer of the soil to the bottom level of the soil, the water moves down towards the gravity to meet the aquifer, then it is percolation. So this soil plays very, very important role for making the groundwater. If infiltration and percolation is not proper, never the water will move towards the gravity and will store in any rocky formation, that is an aquifer. So for this purpose, just recalling purpose, I have given this slide here. So that the only recharge source is the rainwater. Rainwater coming down to the surface, and then it moves. When the soil layer becomes saturated, then what is happening? Then it won't move towards the gravity, rather it moves towards the topography and becomes the runoff, which generally we are telling the surface runoff also. So this runoff is the surface runoff, but inside also some of the water moves just towards the topography inside also, just following the slope, which generally we are telling it the subsurface runoff. So for making any river perennial, subsurface runoff plays very, very important role, and thereby the water, we can see some of the river is only the monsoonal river. After the monsoon it becomes dry, and some of the river is the perennial river, or throughout the year you can get the water in the river. The important factor is the runoff and subsurface runoff. Yes, besides it, from the surface we are having two types of water losses also. That is the evaporation from the earth surface, that is the open surface water sources, that is the river water, that is the pond water, ditches, etc. And transpiration, the water losses from the stomatal opening of the leaves or from your plants. So this evaporation and transpiration generally moves back to the rainwater or to the atmosphere. So in this way, this cycle runs, and this cycle is important for making our water resources inside the earth surface also. Because if we are getting rain, definitely the water will move inside towards the gravity to the aquifer. But suppose the rain is not near to the average your annual rainfall, then it becomes difficult. So that is why we are going, or we are thinking for making some structure or making some ideas for the conservation of the rainwater in terms of rainwater harvesting. So here also we can see for infiltration and percolation, the zone of aeration is there just above your water table. Water table we are getting from the upper layer of any unconfined aquifer is called as water table. So just above it, the capillary fringe through which the soils uptakes the water for the photosynthesis process, and below it is the zone of saturation. So this is full of water, but here we can get water plus air both. So this is important. for moving towards the for the ideas for making the groundwater harvesting pit, we should have the proper figuring of or proper details of the depth of the soil also. How much soil depth is proper for infiltration and percolation, as well as what the texture, because we are having the clay, silt, sand, gravel, pebble, cobble. So every site texture of the soil is having the different porosity and permeability. So this idea should also remain when we are moving to for the your rainwater harvesting. Now, in the aquifers, what generally idea is that we can get the water. So what is happening? Stop sharing. Why? Is it visible?
We can see blank screen, sir. Maybe you
Yeah. Just
you can click on next arrow icon or some space bar.
Yeah. Okay. So porosity and permeability, two important terms are here. We are well aware about these terms also, porosity and permeability. So I am just escaping these things. Why porosity and permeability is important? Because those rainwater amount has to move down towards the gravity for the conservation of the water resources. So here what is happening? So in sand, we are getting the good porosity as well as good permeability. But in the clay, we are getting good porosity but poor permeability. Clay is a very good is very good for the storage of water, but for the ability to transmit the water is very poor in clay. So with this brief background or knowledge, then we are moving for the construction of any recharge rainwater harvesting pit. So this is one side of the coin, how the rainwater is just moving down and it is just remaining in a rocky formation, that is an aquifer. Now, second thing, if you will see the geology, in our country, if you will see, we are having the hard rock aquifers as well as the alluvial aquifers. So this is also creating problem in the construction of the recharge pit structure, because hard rock aquifers are having the low storage as well as low yield, whereas alluvial aquifers are having high storage and high yields. So this depends upon the place to place, which type of rocks are available, because generally in Indian subcontinent we are getting these few important types of rock in the northern mountainous terrain and hilly areas. Then Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra alluvial plains we are getting, then peninsular silt area we are getting, coastal area we are getting, Cenozoic fault basin and low rainfall areas we are getting. So in Indian subcontinent we are having wide hydrological framework, and according to this we are having the groundwater resource ability differently in different places. Now aquifer also we are well aware about this, so I won't discuss in detail about this, because aquifer is a rocky formation which is holding the water, and generally confining beds are aquiclude, aquitard. These are also the rocks only, that is aquiclude I have just discussed. A clay having saturated means it will store water but is relatively impermeable. But aquifuge is the granite basalts and the aquitard is the sandy clay. So these are confining beds which generally directs for making the or which generally defined for making the rocky formation confined or unconfined. So if we are getting some impermeable beds above and below of any rocky formations, then it is confined aquifer. Means the water in this type of aquifer will remain with the hydrostatic pressure, and if any aquifer which is having only the confining bed underlain, not the overlain, then the water in this type of aquifer is the unconfined aquifer, and the water will remain in the atmospheric pressure. So this is the basic difference between the two. That is, in confined aquifer we are getting the water in hydrostatic pressure, and in unconfined aquifer we are getting the water since it is remaining in contact with the atmosphere, so we are getting the water in atmospheric pressure. So now, after knowing about these type of affairs, suppose we have already taken the geological maps and we have seen, or some drilling, we have come aware about the type of the people also. Then the problem is where? Problem is unplanned and excessive extraction of the groundwater. This is also very, very important, because I have told you, as per IMD, each and every locations in India are having the figure of average annual rainfall. So every area are having the figure of statistics of the details of the rainfall amount in the average annual rainfall terms. So suppose in Dhanbad, what we are having 1250 mm, but when we are going back to the say from 2000 to 2023, hardly we are getting any year which are having the rainfall within the 4 months duration near to the average annual rainfall. So this type of erratic change in the rainfall amount has become problem for storing of the groundwater, groundwater resources underneath the earth surface. Second thing, because of the different purposes, human anthropogenic purposes or industrial purposes, we are extracting the groundwater in a very, very critical ways. So see, first the level of the groundwater is going down, and second, the contamination are also increasing. As you will go down and extract the water, definitely the chances of contaminated water are more. So this problem has become, and that's why now generally the urban and semi-urban areas have become the vulnerable areas, whereas the intensively groundwater-based agriculture areas, some of the agriculture areas also you will get earlier, before 5 years ago, we were seeing the agriculture full of agricultural land. But if you will prepare the land use map, you can see those areas which were earlier agricultural land means what? That the place are receiving good amount of water through the capillary zone, because then only the water will move to your root system, to the plants for making the photosynthesis process, food making process. So this unplanned and excessive extraction has is also creating problem for the storing of the groundwater resources. Now, these are some of the studies. What we can see one well, and in this well, how much is the depth of water? You can see at the bottom. We are seeing some of the just the amount of water in there. So what is happening because of the extraction? The pre-monsoon water levels are going down. Means it is going down. Even some of the wells are also drying. It is not only for Dhanbad. It is generally for all over India. If you will see, wherever NCR region or Chennai region, wherever you see, you can find that the water levels has gone down. So the fluctuation has become higher fluctuation between pre and post monsoon. If you will compare the water levels, it is too much. So what it is showing, it is declining trend of water levels. And I've told you, if the water table will go down, definitely the contamination will increase. The groundwater quality will deteriorate. So in this way, we are getting the problem. We are facing it everywhere. Now, another problem what we are facing generally the industries are also just withdrawing the water for their own industrial purposes. So what they are also, for the sake of the running of the industry, they are just taking the water out. And what is happening? The cone of depression is going down. It is going down. You can see here the level water table were here. But as the pumping lowers the cone of depression, but over pumping, what you can see, the cone of depression has increased, and then over pumping lowers the cone of depression and dries the stream. This stream has dried. This what we are seeing here, you can see it is become dry. So this has created another problem. Over pumping will definitely lower the cone of depression. So, and over pumping is required because of the industrial activities or some other activities. So it is required. So for our own purposes, we are withdrawing the water, but side by side, we are not thinking how can we conserve the water resources, which has become one of the important problems in the present day environmental scenario. So for this idea, now this has given by the Ministry of Jal Shakti also, catch the rain where it falls, when it falls. So this has become very interesting. We should make plan in such a way that we can catch the rain drop where it falls and when it falls. This is important. Why it is important? Because I've told you earlier people were thinking for the rainwater harvesting only. But if you will see the rainfall pattern of any district of India, you can see every district are having the your average annual rainfall data. This is with IMD also. We all can see there. And if you will notice the if you will see the time the analysis of the rainfall amount of the different years, some year are good year, some year are bad year. This good and bad year is in terms of meteorology, because when we are having the rainfall amount within the 4-month duration greater than average annual rainfall, that year is generally the good year. And when it is lesser than the average annual rainfall amount, then it is the bad year. So if you will see the last 10 years or 15 years record of the rainfall or precipitation, you will find that every area is having the erratic rainfall pattern. Not a very good way, because some years we are getting the very good amount of rainfall amount on the surface, some year we are getting the not proper amount of rainfall on the surface. So then what is the idea? Say if the rain will become less, then definitely we have to think for some other conservation process also. And for that only, we are harvesting the surface water also. We can harvest the surface water also. So not only the rainwater, rather surface water harvesting has also become important problem. Why I'm telling it has become important source of the conservation of the water resources? Because I have told that the raindrop will first, it will just saturate the underlying soil layer, first top layer of the soil. So definitely those amount of water will not move down where it has become saturated. It will move towards the topography. This rainwater will convert into surface runoff water. Okay. Secondly, for our own living purposes, generally in every campuses you will see that hardly any barren your open land is there. Everywhere we are making some sort of pavement or some sort of tiles pavement and this and that. So we have just stopping the your infiltration and percolation process where it falls, when it falls. So ultimately this water is moving towards the topography and ultimately joining towards to any river body, that is the surface river, your surface water sources. So that's why present day we are having the rainwater harvesting idea, but side by side we are also thinking for harvesting the surface water. Now this is useful, no doubt, we all know this thing. Now here, as I told you, that surface runoff harvesting has become important in urban areas, definitely, because in urban areas hardly we have any land to move water towards the gravity to meet the aquifers. So the groundwater will remain stored there. So this has become nowadays surface runoff harvesting has also become important, and no doubt rooftop rainwater harvesting is there. Rooftop rainwater harvesting is there, but it requires some scientific studies. What we have noticed that if you are just making any pit for the sake of the conservation of the rainwater, then hardly it will work for long years. Generally, it is not running properly, and that's why I will discuss these important scientific issues in detailed way. Now, before it, Just we all know, or perhaps also, that the recharge structure, for making any recharge structure, we have to assess the runoff, and the runoff coefficient as per the catchment area, we are having some runoff coefficient also. So first thing what we require for making of this rainwater harvesting pit at any location, first of all, we should think for the finding out the stage of groundwater development. This is very, very important. What is the status of the stage of groundwater development in the area? Yes, definitely. Earlier the CGWB, they have taken they have just followed the GRAM methodology, groundwater resource estimation methodology, 1997, and they have just pointed out that the assessment calculates the recharge to aquifer and extraction to work out the stage of groundwater development. So if the lower the stage of groundwater development is lower, definitely the better the aquifer or area is. Now, how we are finding it, we are just evaluating the rainfall pattern of the area. This data we are taking from the average annual rainfall data we can take from the IMD also, or generally we have installed also, or the people are installing in different campuses or industries the rain gauge, and through this rain gauge they are just monitoring the amount of rainfall or amount of the dry day or wet day. So in this way we can we have to find out the rainfall pattern of the area, and then the just estimation of the good year and bad year. I've told you, if it is greater than average annual rainfall, then it is good year, or if it is less than the average annual rainfall, it is the bad year. So this is important. Before making for any recharge pit or any area, first of all, we should have the idea of the rainfall pattern, not only the 1 year pattern, last 10 years or 15 years pattern, we should just write down at one place, and just we can just evaluate whether the good year is more or bad year is more. So in this way, we can have the idea that, okay, rainfall in this area is good or bad. Third, the important point is that the drainage pattern analysis and water set type. So this is important because drainage generally we can conserve the water if we are having the idea about the water set your pattern. So for this, generally we are just preparing the drainage map of the area for knowing about the details of the rivers or tributaries or nalas within the areas, and the slope direction also, what is the slope direction of the water. That is also important because we can't send the water from bottom to up. Always water is moving towards the topography. So in this way, with the help of the drainage patterns, we are just preparing the water set map, and this water set map is helping in your finding out the infiltration in the area. So infiltration is very, very important. Infiltration is just your scientific ways of your infiltration and percolation we have seen. This infiltration is just telling about the idea of the amount of water which will move towards the gravity to the Earth's surface. Now, after knowing about the stage of the groundwater development of the area and the and the rainfall pattern of the area, next scientific study requires what is the water table fluctuation in the area. So for finding out the water table fluctuation, generally we are monitoring the pre and post monsoon period of the water table in the area, and then average reading after taking the average reading by preparing the map. One map is water table contour map we are being prepared to get the overall idea in the location where we have planned to prepare or construct the recharge pit. Now, for moving to the stage of groundwater development, this process we are also adopting. Just total precipitation we can see it is 3,500 mm, and this is not developed by anybody, but it is from your ministry GRAM methodology. That is the groundwater resource estimation methodology. How to find out the groundwater resource. So we are having only the total precipitation. In this total precipitation, we can see the runoff the huge amount of runoff, 45% of the precipitation is going out to the Earth's surface. Going out means what? The rain where it falls, it will never stop there. It will move to somewhere else. Definitely at somewhere else, maybe it will move down to the surface, to the aquifer, but it is not helping to the place where the rain falls exactly. So in this way, we have seen that precipitation, out of precipitation, the runoff amount is more, and then the groundwater runoff amount means the water which moves down to the surface is very less. So in this way, what we are computing, we are just computing the total annual replenishable recharge in any area, whatever area we are having. Some area is having some water table fluctuation, and with the help of water table fluctuation, generally we are calculating the TAR, that is total annual replenishable recharge. The two methods are there, groundwater table fluctuation method as well as rainfall infiltration factor method. After calculation of the TAR, generally we are calculating the annual draft. What is the annual draft of the area? Here, just I have taken the two scenarios, that is the population as well as the industry. But there are several other issues are also there. Irrigation is there, then for agriculture purposes, irrigation is there, then some of the your car washing process. So for several purposes, we are taking the water. So draft, here we have just find out the total ability of the groundwater resource in the area, and here what is the total draft of the area. Now after finding this, we are finding the net groundwater available in the area. So here we can see that we have just subtracted the mine discharge. Mine discharge, I've told you in the previous slide, if you will see, here I have taken only for draft purposes, I've taken only the population for any area. Suppose it is 30 square kilometer and population 60,000. Then with the help of the WHO guidelines, generally what we are just taking the, for this water set, we are just multiplied this factor, it is coming to this one, 1.423 million cubic meter here. And second factor what we have taken, that is the industry purpose. Since we have done for the mining area, so it is for the industry purpose. Now, after knowing about the total annual replenishable recharge, means the availability of the water in the area, and the draft means the how much water is being taken out, being withdrawn from the area. Now finding the net groundwater available in the area. So just we are seeing here estimated draft through mine discharge plus domestic draft, and if we will subtracting this one from the TAR, it is giving this value. Now in the groundwater development, generally if it is remaining less than 65%, then it is white area. 65%, greater than 65%, but less than or equal to 85%, then it is gray area. Gray area means risk of facing severe water scarcity. Here in this case, while taking the clearance for the industry, for opening up any industry, the ministry also restrict them. Yes, your area has become gray. So please see, you are facing severe water scarcity in near future. So give us some plan also. Now, if groundwater development is greater than 85% to 100%, then it has become dark area, very critical area. It has certain risks. Gray area has certain risks, but here it has become critical. So many factors are there. Any development should have prior safety measures. They are not allowing for the opening of any industry. And greater than 100%, definitely it is overexploited area. So if you will see the statistics of the groundwater development of Indian subcontinent, most of the areas, most of the aquifers, you will see it has become the overexploited aquifers at the present day. Now, after knowing about these, means the first the stage of groundwater development, then the average annual rainfall amount of the area, and then the types of the groundwater development, whether it is white, gray, or dark, or overexploited. Now, next thing is the finding the aquifer characteristics. Suppose you are willing to construct any sort of recharge SAPT for the rainwater harvesting purposes, but if you are not having the extent of the idea about the extent of the aquifer, So then it is very, then it will become, it will won't run for a longer duration. So for this, generally we are doing the pumping test. Most of you are also aware about this test. Through this, we are just monitoring the transmissivity and storativity in the regional sense, which are nothing but these are also the porosity and the permeability in local terms. So in this way, pumping tests are being carried out for knowing about the extent of the aquifer. Through the pumping test, we can, what we are doing, we are just finding out the transmissivity and storativity of the area, and it gives about the length and thickness of the your aquifer, underlying aquifer. So this is very important, how much water it can store, or how can it will take water, or it can send water, because permeability is should be also there. Now, then infiltration test is also very important. Suppose rain is good, groundwater development is good, but the infiltration rate of the area is not good. Then how will the water, rainwater will move there? It won't move. It will just saturate the top layer of the soil, and then it will allow for the surface runoff. So then the idea for conservation of groundwater resources in terms of rainwater storage will become, will definitely not work properly. So for this, generally we are monitoring the infiltration rate. Our Professor Reddy sir has very nicely dealt about the soil. Soil for environmental engineering aspects, soil is very, very important. I have told you when we are monitoring the qualitative assessment of the surface water sample as well as the groundwater sample, and if we are having any doubt, because while the estimation of the source as a personate study, estimation of the how from where the fluoride or arsenic is coming, if we are going in depth study in this, for that time or for these purposes, generally the soil resource that plays very, very important role, because soil will, if you will after this surface water and groundwater resources, if you will just hit to the soil, its texture, its quality, its physicochemical characteristic, etc., definitely it will tell the your correct scenario of the area from where this fluoride, whether it is geogenic sources or some anthropogenic sources. So it generally, we environmental engineers, generally we are taking it as a very, very important resource for finding out the pollutant, different types of pollutant, different types of heavy metals, from where it is coming, whether it will contaminate to some local nearby aquifer, etc. So anyway, here the purpose is to find out the amount of water moving towards the gravity and ultimately meeting to the rock, that is the aquifer. Now, after this, you have seen so many studies we are performing for making any recharge pit. So after this, whether when we are aware about your extent of the aquifer also, then whether the aquifer, where is the area, where is the potential recharge zone of the area, this also we have to find out. So in this way, we are generally moving for the water stressed area. Just we are identifying what are the water stressed area. And for finding out the water stress area, generally we are performing the aquifer vulnerability assessment. This is very, very important. Then the potential recharge zones. And next is the water poverty index. This is very important. Just I will show you, aquifer vulnerability assessment generally are being done with the help of the drastic method. Present day, we are having the modified drastic also. So in this, you can see the depth to water, net recharge, aquifer media, soil media, topography, impact of bedrock zone, hydraulic, so many water related parameters are there. So you won't fail if you will design or if you move towards systematically for the construction of the recharge pit in any area. In any area, I'm not telling in only our area. Any area, if you will move for the construction of this recharge pit. And this is important also. What we are noticing in different places, people are constructing the rainwater harvesting, because this is the mandatory requirement from the your pollution control board, etc., etc. You won't believe, we have constructed one recharge pit, and some of the industry people, they have come to us, they have approached us and told, sir, please we also need it because CPCB has given us notice. So we moved to their place, and we have suggested You see, after study, our study, the present location for construction of the recharge pit will be this one, say X, Y, whatever we have suggested. But they were denying, no, 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 sir, but here about my lab is there, this is there, that is there. So then we have told, if you wish to have proper rainwater harvesting pit, you should move to this place. You can't live near to the lab. This pit, you should not. So in this way, there are several if and buts, but these are the scientific studies which requires before the construction of any recharge pit. You have to see whether the aquifer is vulnerable or not, and then you have to delineate the potential recharge zones in the area, because these are some of the through which we are moving for the groundwater potential zone, identification of the groundwater potential zones in any area. And water poverty index is very important, because this is also you can see here resource, access, capacity, use, and environment. These are some of the parameters through which we are moving for the preparation of this type of water. This is one of the district town in which the different wards are there, and the different wards tell about the water poverty index. What is the level of the water poverty index? So it is not only telling about only the depth of the water, but all other purposes, all other issues are also there. If you are having water, but you are just unable to withdraw it, if you are having water and you are over exploited. So in this way, there are several components, and through these components, generally we are preparing the water poverty index map. So after this study, generally we are thinking for construction of this type of, or designing of this type of rainwater harvesting pit. So there are several types: storage tanks, recharge pit, recharge trenches, abundant duct wells, abundant hand pumps, recharge wells, vertical recharge saps, lateral saps, etc. So prior to it, coming to this point, several studies are required. Then only you can think, okay, we should not go for any storage tank. We will go for the recharge well, or some vertical recharge saps we can go. And through this, we can send the rainwater down to the surface to meet the aquifer. This is just our campus, our IIT-ISM campus, and in this campus, I am just showing you the work. We have done several works in the industry also. So we will just, I am remaining in my campus only. You can see here, fully rainwater harvested campus. In this campus, this design of, you can see one recharge pit is there. How it has come, I will show you. You can see here, just brick. After this brick, we have just spread the sand, and this is also one of the coastal recharge pit. You can see the pit water generally moves down. This is one of the campus in which the recharge pits was designed. This is the area of the rooftop, you can see. And through this rooftop, if you will see minutely, some of the PVC pipe is there, and it is coming to the collection tank. This CT is the collection tank, in which several types of filter in terms of different texture of the soils levels that are kept. And then after, because through the rooftop, several impurities are also coming, and these are being cleared here. And then after the collection tank, it moves towards the rainwater harvesting tank, that is the recharge pit 1, 2, and 3. Here you can see. So this is the design of your rainwater harvesting in our campus. The recharge pit design, you can see here, kept the pit is filled up with sand. Then the gravels and the boulders, some of the sizes and the height is also mentioned here. And this is the stage of the construction of the recharge pit, what we have noticed. Just I have shown you, this is for this recharge pit. I have shown you for this recharge pit. These are the proper ways for the construction of the recharge pit. Now, this is one of the Ministry of Water Resource project. Earlier, the Ministry of Water Resource was there. So, one project in the Vera coal area of Basta Kola in Jharia coalfield. Here, I have told you in the Jharia coalfield area, this is one of the oldest coalfield in India. no doubt, but here huge amount of fire and subsidence problems are there. All the underlying aquifer have become destructed. So present day, very tough to work. Hydrological studies is very tough to carry out in this place because of this type of destruction of the aquifers. So anyway, we have done study, and you can see here one pit has been developed, which is these pits are actually helping in the just the water level what the people were facing down in the last 10 or 15 years. Nowadays they are having the water table near to the earth surface, or you can say at the shallower depth. So this is one of the improvement. If you will do the recharge pit structure with the scientific study, then definitely you can able to store the water. Now, this is the another area where the construction is going on. You can see in this way the pits are being prepared. Now, it is under construction. You can see here. So, pebbles, cobbles, or means all the different textures of the soils are being kept for the filtration of the. And after that, you can see the good way is that the carpeting of this area for stopping the impurities to come down. So in this way, this is the hostel areas of our campus where the rainwater harvesting pits are being designed. So if you will ask from me, definitely rainwater harvesting is one of the best option for conservation of the water resources, no doubt. Only thing we have to have prior to it, we have to conduct some sort of scientific study. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, any queries?
Yes.
Because this is one of the vibrant topic. Every places it requires in India.
Yeah, one request is from kindly share PPT, sir. It's very useful.
PPT.
If possible.
This PPT to you. Okay, sir. I will send it to Divya Reddy, sir. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, participants, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand or use chat box to share your queries, observations. So feel free to share your comments, observations. If you are having any difficulty in unmuting, you can raise your hand. We will unmute from our side. Yes, so there is one query.
Yeah.
How do we determine the size of recharge pit?
Size of recharge pit will be determined. I have told you in the I have shown the slide also. Before that, we have to calculate the amount of rainwater which will come down to the surface. Only then we can have the idea for the length, depth of the recharge pit as well as the your diameter of the recharge pit. Before that, it is very difficult because every places the amount of rainfall will different. So on the basis of the amount of the rainfall which is coming to the area means rooftop area. So amount of rainfall plus rooftop area and the calculation, storage calculation will ultimately give you the idea about your shape of the recharge pit. That is the depth as well as your breadth of the recharge pit, length and breadth of the recharge pit. Otherwise, it is very difficult. No standard guidelines are there. On the basis of this only, generally we are designing the recharge pit.
Thank you, sir. There is one more query from Dr.
Yes, sir.
Vidya.
Yes, sir.
Is it mandatory to have a rainwater harvesting pit in every house, considering the fact that during heavy rainfall, water flooding occurs? And why only rooftop? This is a question.
Yeah. Actually, in some of the states of upper India, you can see that in NCR region, this has become mandatory that while the construction of the house, you should have the rainwater recharge pit, rainwater harvesting, your design of the building. So in our places, it has not become mandatory, but definitely when the heavy rainfall will be there, then one thing just I escaped while designing of the rainwater harvesting pit. We are also making one just overflow pipe. We are just making one overflow pipe. So if there will be maximum rain, infiltration will become more. Then what will happen? Suppose the water will not move down, then those amount of water will move up through the overflow, and it will move to the certain directed path for movement of the water. So this arrangement are being done while construction of the recharge pit. But there should be some rainwater conservation aspects to building, especially the government offices, etc. They should have, because sir, problem is there. Problem is there that suppose you are getting good amount of rainfall, it's all right. But if you are not having proper infiltration rate in the area, then definitely those water will not move down. Those water will never convert into the groundwater. Rather, it will convert into the surface water, because underneath it will become saturated. Then what will happen? It will direct towards the topography, towards the slope. So those water will be wasted off from it won't. We can't able to catch the rain where it falls when it falls. So this has become problem.
Thank you, sir. And there is one more query. How to take up maintenance of recharge pit and what is the life of this recharge?
No. Maintenance of recharge pit is very, very important, sir. Very, very important. Because you won't believe I have shown you some of the few pics I have not taken. So some of the slides I have shown you. See, for any recharge pit, if you are not maintaining it before to the monsoon season, definitely at least in collection tanks where so many your small shrubs, etc., some sand, some impurities, dry impurities are remaining there. So it will ultimately choke the spaces within the or among the sand grains. So before the monsoonal season, it should have important that you please go for the maintenance of the at least the collection tank, not the recharge pit. If the collection tank will remain clear, definitely the water in the recharge pit will move clear. It will move to without any your impurities. So collection tank is very important while preparation of any your rainwater harvesting pit. So there we can able to maintain also. Life of the pit, recharge pit, generally it remains, there is no specific life, but generally it works for a longer duration. Suppose the water will not move down, so definitely it will never work. It will then, the more of the amount of water will move towards the overflow. So ultimately it will become useless. So there is no specific guideline for the age of the or life of the recharge pit. But yes, guideline is there that you have to maintain before the arrival of the monsoonal season.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions, sir?
Yeah, I'm just looking in the chat.
Professor Prasoon Kumar sir, I am Dr. Jayachandra. I am Dr. Jayachandra.
Yeah. Glad to hear from you.
Yeah. I just want to say, I had a wonderful lecture, very informative and very useful to the present situation.
Yes.
that again rainy season is going to come.
Yes.
Sir, I have a small question, sir. Do you have any suggestion or any solution? This particularly the urban areas, say Hyderabad is a standing example. The entire
sir.
roads, entire roads are now. Earlier there was some space from the road to the footpath somewhere. The water used to go, discharge through soil. But nowadays it is totally, cemented. It is like a, concrete jungle. So totally, even a small rain, very small quantity, small rain will, creating floods in Hyderabad very frequently. Every rainy day, we have traffic issues. The main reason is the water is not getting discharged wherever it is, falling.
Sir,
Maybe any material. Please, sir.
Sir, I have discussed this issue. That's why I have discussed this issue. Where it falls, when it falls, to catch the rain, it is not so. You should have the idea. Say, just you are telling na in road, you are getting the flood-like situation. So what has happened, sir? Those concreted part, which were earlier a very good impermeable, infiltrated zone. Infiltrated zone, infiltration will be better there. That has become cemented. Then what will happen? Reddy sir has given very nice idea of the soil study also. Sir, what is happening when the cows are grazing, cows or cattle are they are moving, the same agricultural land, what we are seeing in agricultural land, generally the porous spaces are very good. But same porous spaces of agricultural land, if the movement of the cow will remain continuity, then what will happen? It will become barren because that will become choke. Ultimately, there will be no agriculture. So that is what happening in our water case also, sir. For the rainwater harvesting condition, this is what happening. Say good area where this is not in your area, sir. Everywhere we are facing such type of. Even my own institute, when I was also a student of this IIT ISM, sir, once upon a time in the year 1992. So that time we were playing volleyball in one of the ground. But now, if you will visit to our institute, those ground which were very good source of your infiltration has become very well cemented, and a good lecture hall has been constructed there at the present day. So what will happen, sir? Those area where the places were earlier for movement of the water down to the surface, those has become choked. So ultimately, where the water will move, if there will be no slope, definitely the water will remain flooded side by the road or side by the building. That is what the situation has become.
See, the government talks one side, the watershed in the normal rural areas, but when it comes to urban area, see the water falling somewhere because of water, because it can't go inside, and it is, with whatever natural slope and gravity, it flows to the low-lying areas, and it is frequent flooding is happening.
Definitely.
I do not understand the entire whole engineering department. They see every division, every like buildings and roads. That is an engineering department with all engineers.
Definitely.
So why can't they consider come out with a solution with some tile which can sustain the weight of the vehicle, and also we can take water inside?
Yes, you are absolutely right, sir. But if you will visit to the national highway, good national highway, we are having lots of good national highway. You can see side by side, as per the slope, they have made a small drain also, so that the extra surplus water which will fall to the road will move towards those drain and ultimately go to the low-lying areas. But
you are right, sir.
You are right. But in the urban area, sir, you won't notice this thing.
That is the problem, sir. Urban area, they always think only to maintain clean and whatever. So because soil will come, dust will come. So there, you see, in Hyderabad we have four-wheel vehicles, lorries to sweep the roads. See, they are thinking in one direction, but what is the impact they are not understanding. Maybe people like you have to create awareness.
Sir, in the history of groundwater resource also, people are knowing me. As an environmental hydrologist, I have worked in these mining areas for about 20 years, more than 20 years. So I am always telling. Recently, people were asking for some industry also for this rainwater harvesting. I have told, see, I won't take the money because I am a professor. I won't take the money, but money is required for performance of some sort of test. You have to give. Otherwise, without test, if you are just trying to, this is my open space, sir, you please allow us to give to make the recharge pit. So ultimately, it won't work. It won't work. That is there, because water is having some rule. We should follow the rule also. We can't disobey the rule. Then only it will harvest. Then only it will harvest. Otherwise, it is useless, sir. It is useless. So this is our idea. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Glad to hear from you also. So if you have chance, sir, please visit to our institute also anytime.
Yes, sir. Yes, certainly. Future will.
Yes, sir.
Do that, sir.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you have more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So generally, this was also one of the query, how much it costs for constructing a recharge pit, and whether recharge pit can be connected without constructed without this collection tank.
Yeah, without collection tank also it can be made, but you have to give the option of the just your overflow. This you have to give. And for the costs are actually I have not mentioned here, but I am just looking. Actually, sir, this rooftop paved area, in this way we have to find out the runoff coefficient, runoff in the area, and then cost is also there, but that has not, I am not incorporated. But it varies, sir, from place to place. It varies. If we will, it is not remaining constant to every place. So because you can see, sir, this you can see this is the area. The area may change at different places. So what will happen? If you want, you are having less money, you can't see this collection tank is helping for the health of this recharge pit only. Otherwise, what will happen? Through the rooftop directly, it will come to the recharge pit. Here we are having some filter. So through this filter, we are sending the pure water inside the circuit. So that is why it is required. Otherwise, many places we have seen that directly also it is going to the recharge pit. But that ultimately it will choke and it will not work properly. That is what our idea is. And cost depend upon structure to structure, sir. I have not incorporated, but that is there. With the total rooftop area, the amount of the rainfall, the costs are being done. Small water harvesting structure can also be, we have given for rural areas, say they are not having so much money. So just go through your runoff, just try to collect or harvest those runoff, which is wasting going far away from your area. So please make a small pit here, and through the pit, they are having the water, no problem. Because with the scientific studies, we have decided the place. So these are there.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And especially for apartments where there is very less space.
Yeah, very less space. Yes.
Yeah.
But in the builders which who are building constructing the house apartment, they are giving the plans for rainwater harvesting. But what is happening ultimately, we are not aware about this. But every building it has become mandatory to have the rainwater harvesting plan. Just like we are having the environmental conservation plan, etc., etc. So, but somewhere it is remaining, somewhere not remaining, somewhere remaining but not working. So there are several if and buts for this aspect. But really speaking, truly speaking, as a professor, I am telling you, this is very, very important. If we won't think for this at the present day, definitely after 10 or 15 years, hardly we will have, because our ancestors were taking water from the well. Now we have started taking water through the mineral water. One bottle is there, which we are not forgetting for carrying our luggage, but we are definitely we are keeping it in memory that our bottle should be with our journey. So a day will come, you won't get the water, proper quality of water. This is also there. So this is good aspects. Somewhere, if the rain is good, go for the rainwater harvesting. Otherwise, the rain is surplus, it is not moving down because of the geological factors, then try to go for the surface water harvesting. Harvest it at some good place. It will ultimately, the water table will move up after the monsoonal season. So people will be benefited. So these are there, sir.
Thank you, sir. There is one more query. What is the pH level of rainwater? Can it be turned for drinking? And what is its life?
Sir, pH is definitely the acidic water. Rainwater is the pH is acidic. Generally, rainwater we are not drinking. That is, we are not drinking it. Whether it is moving down to the surface, and then those water are being tested also, and this is near to our potable purposes. Generally, directly we are not taking the pit water for drinking purposes. It is going down to the surface. But generally, with these courses, where from rooftop to the pit, it moves from from different courses, and then the level of the water remains at least for the near to the level of the potable water. So there is no problem with this one. Yes, if some area is having huge amount of acid mine drainage problem, then there will be problem. Then some few consideration you have to take for your scientific study. If the area is having the acid mine drainage problem, and generally all the areas are not having problem of the acid mine. So definitely there is no problem related to pH or the storage of the water in the recharge.
So can that water be converted into drinking water?
Ultimately, it is going down to the surface.
Yes.
It is storing in the aquifer only.
Yes, sir. So it's always on a safer side, we collect it and treat it and drink it instead of directly drinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, sir. And as you rightly pointed out, sir, in your session, nowadays we see, excess drought situation or excess flooding situation. In that case, there are certain drought situations where for a longer period of time, there is no rainfall. And there are certain, heavy rainfall in a particular months in a year. So how to recharge in that situation, how to recharge the water?
So in the drought situation, sir, definitely the drought situation means rainfall is not there. So what to conserve? We are not having any option. See, rainfall is also, sir, if we will now in depth study, if we will go, see, we are getting the monsoonal rain, as well as we are getting some sort of rainfall besides monsoon season. That is in winter season also, we are getting some sort of rainfall. So where we are having the drought problem, definitely those areas are not rich with the not saturated with the groundwater resource. Say for the example, our Rajasthan area. You want definitely these areas are having the water at a greater depth, where it has become problematic or it has become expensive to have some sort of the withdrawal purposes. In one area, suppose the Bihar is having a very huge flood area. So it means the alluvial terrain is there, sir. So alluvial terrain, definitely the sand is there. So the groundwater generally remains at the lower, shallower depth. So generally, because of the huge rainfall, the area becomes flooded in the local issue. So in this way, the two different conditions are there. That's why I have told you, sir, each and every districts are having the average rainfall, average annual rainfall amount of the area. So please assess first, please evaluate these scenario. what is the amount of the rainfall in your area, and what is the water table depth in your area. These two, if you are conducting first, then at least it will give the idea that if we will move for the construction of the rainwater harvesting pit, whether it will work properly or not. If drought area means you can know that water table is at greater depth. Flooded area means definitely the water level is near to the surface or shallower depth. So this two study is very, very important before thinking of any sort of construction of water harvesting.
Thank you, sir. And there is one more query. Nowadays, we are seeing a phenomenon of water getting evaporated very soon, even in water bodies.
Pardon, sir, once more, please.
Nowadays, we are seeing the phenomenon of water getting evaporated immediately after this rainy season.
Evaporated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how to conserve that water?
Achha, evaporated water.
Maybe I think the lakes and water bodies are getting dry.
Yeah. Surface water sources, through the surface water sources. Surface water sources are river, lakes, nala, ponds, etc., tributaries, etc. So through the surface water sources, because of the intensive heat radiation from the sun, generally the evaporation takes place. No doubt. I have told in the slide of the hydrological cycle also, the evaporation and transpiration are two important losses to the atmosphere. It moves towards the atmosphere, not towards the down to the surface. So, sir, one technology, but that technology is not so, I am not sure about those technology, but one sky water technology is there, through which generally the evaporated water are being condensed and sent back towards the earth surface. But how far it works or how it is working, I am not sure about this. The conservation of the evaporated water, not so much research from my side, so I am unable to reply about this. But that technology is there. That is, I am having the idea, sky water technology, through which you can just conserve the evaporated water or even the transpirated water.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Mary, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Good night, sir. I thank Dr. Ravindra sir and Sri Holistic Health Foundation for giving me the opportunity to express my opinion. Actually, this is very new topic, sir. You have done extensive research. I learned lots, sir, from this topic.
Thank you, ma'am.
Because I am not from science background, so I learned lots, sir. Everything is
science is,
ma'am.
For this topic, everyone should know, not science or engineering. No, everyone can learn these things.
I don't know, sir, but a lot of your PPT, first time I am hearing that all that terminologies and also. So that's why what I know, I'll tell. I know what I don't know, I'll tell. Don't know, sir. That's my character.
Yeah. No, very good, very good. Thank you.
So I learned lots, sir. I jotted down a lot of points, and you have done intense work in the PPT. So that only shows how much you have research experience. And thank you for the wonderful, and hope to see you on our platform more times, sir. God bless you. Take care, sir.
Thank you very much to all, and good night to all.
Thank you, sir, for joining us on this wonderful occasion, and we had really enlightful session, and we wish you all the success and look forward for more sessions in future. Thank you once again on behalf of the organizers, participants. We wish you all the success. Dear friends, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. Dear friends, we have raised the feedback form. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. Then we will move on to presentations. Sunday, be prepared with your presentation after filling up the feedback form. And anyone else would like to present, those who have completed formalities and have been scheduled today? Dear friends, quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of polls. Presenters, waiting for your presentation, leave your topic in the chat box so that we can invite you. After closing the feedback form. Feedback form has been shared in the form of polls. If you are unable to see the feedback form, you can log off and log in again quickly. Or you can access it from the menu, polls menu. Or you can swipe. If you are using mobile device, you can swipe right or left or top or bottom to access the feedback. if you have accidentally closed. If you are using a web browser, we request you to join from Zoom app, as browser has limited functionality, and it may also, due to installed plugins and other add-ons, it may prevent access to polls or any pop-up windows. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. Yes, Sunday, you can now unmute yourself. Start your video and start your presentation.
Okay.
Can adjust your camera.
Okay, thank you, sir.
can share your presentation.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Sunday Baku from Multicultural Polytechnic here in Nigeria. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I hereby thank the organizers of this conference for giving me the opportunity to speak on the topic titled an overview of hydrogen internal combustion engine. Let me try to share the screen here with you. Thank you for giving me the attention. Can I proceed? Are you with me?
Yeah,
Hello.
you can introduce yourself and continue. It's visible now.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, sir. Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes. Please continue.
All right. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm Sunday Bako from Multicultural Polytechnic, Nigeria. I hereby thank the organizers and the moderators, Dr. Redbrand, for giving me the opportunity to speak on the topic titled An Overview of Hydrogen Fueled Internal Combustion Engine. Fuel pollution, fuel produce pollutions, fuel produce emissions. As usual, as we know, the hydrogen, the conventional internal combustion engine, the byproduct of the internal combustion engine is mostly carbon oxides and nitrogen. And we know this has been the major source of greenhouse gases, which has been dangerous to human lives and has led to climate change. So therefore, it becomes necessary to search for a more effective strategies, for methods and technologies and alternative fuels in order to combat this phenomenon, which is the fuel pollutions, which has led to climate change, and it has led to several diseases as a result of this carbon emission. So for this reason, hydrogen gas, hydrogen fuel can be used in gasoline and other conventional engine. As you know, the conventional engine, it uses fuel, and whenever a fuel is used, the fuel has to be combusted. It has to be burned, and when this fuel is being burned, it gives out the byproducts. These byproducts of the conventional engine, they use diesel and gasoline, they are dangerous. So using hydrogen will be less dangerous because the byproduct of hydrogen internal combustion engine is a water byproduct and nitrogen oxide, which are less harmful gases. So researchers are determined, have been trying so much to search for alternative fuels and develop new technologies for combustion, right? And this has been used so far, and in order to make sure that this emission has been reduced in order to combat climate changes. So as to improve the performance of the internal combustion engine, the use of hydrogen as a fuel come into place in order to combat this infit of hydrogen. So the introduction, the continuation. So the internal combustion engine, which is the IC engine, still have an important role to play in the transportation sectors and in the gas industry, because most of these gas industries, they use these engines for transportation of their products, for equipment handling, for transportation of byproducts and other items used in production of other goods and services. So therefore, this engine still have an important role. And this internal combustion engine have to be used continuously because as we see the introduction of the electric vehicles, so there are some challenges pertaining to electric vehicles that the internal combustion engine can be able to control. So therefore, improving the effectiveness of this engine is still required in order to increase the performance and environmental safety. So this has to be done as a result of this to improve this performance of this engine, to also ensure environmental safety. The hydrogen internal combustion engine came into place because of this less emission gases and because of the good fuel economy of the hydrogen fuel. So making an internal combustion engine to run on hydrogen is not difficult, but getting the engine run effectively is a major challenge. This engine, the conventional engine using fuel, gasoline, and diesel, and the one using the hydrogen. The arrangement of the component, the method of operations are similar, but to make sure that this engine operates with hydrogen, some modification have to be done because the byproduct of this hydrogen internal combustion engine is mostly water vapor, which can lead to corrosion. The development of hydrogen internal combustion engines stagnates even with the ongoing research. The development of this engine has been so long, it has been low due to the effort made by various researchers to make sure that this engine comes into places due to some challenges that are being subjected by this engine. The hydrogen internal combustion engine, just as you know, a normal internal combustion engine, it burns the fuels inside the engine to produce energy. So as we know, an engine is a mechanical arrangement that converts the chemical energy of the fuel into heat energy, from heat energy to mechanical energy. So hydrogen here, it's being burned inside the engine to give heat energy, then to give mechanical energy. So this one is an optimization of the internal combustion engine that uses the conventional gasoline and diesel fuel. So internal combustion engine is ideally suited for the transition of hydrogen economy. This engine is a new method of enhancing hydrogen economy, to making hydrogen become more economic fuel because of its availability, its less cost compared to other fuels used in the internal combustion engine. So hydrogen is a good alternative for spark ignition engine due to some desirable properties. It has a desirable properties that make it good for spark ignition engine. The spark ignition engine, the engine that use petrol and gasolines. This engine is different from the diesel engine, which is compression ignition engine. The method of operations, there's a bit difference between the methods of operation. So the hydrogen fuel is more suitable for the spark ignition engine due to the properties of hydrogen. So therefore, utilizing hydrogen as a fuel in the IC engine will have a significant role to play in the transportation sector, as shown in the table. The use of hydrogen in transportation sector and the oil and gas industry will have a very important role to play because of its availability, its cost, because it has a low cost compared to gasoline and diesel. So it also affect, it also reduce the cost of production of some industries, and its availability. It also enhance the automotive industry to engage in production of cars that can be readily available and can be obtained by average people in a given country. So the hydrogen internal combustion engine, hydrogen are produced in different ways. They are produced by different methods, such as the nuclear power and the nuclear power process, by biomasses, through sustainable energy, through industrial processes such as electrolysis and other things. Meanwhile, the hydrogen gas has a very important role to play, as I earlier said, in the transportation industry. It can be used in the land vehicles, on the vehicles, and the buses, and the trains, in the air vehicles like helicopters, airplanes, in the sea vehicles like the ships, some ferries. The properties of the hydrogen fuel The property of the hydrogen fuel compared to other fuels such as the gasoline, the diesel, and the methane. The first property, carbon content. Hydrogen internal combustion engine, it has no carbon content. This makes the engine to be less harmful to the environment. This makes the engine to have zero carbon content. And this carbon content, as you know, is very dangerous to human lives. It prevents the red blood cells from getting oxygen, and it also causes blood cancer, asthma, and other diseases. As we can see, the hydrogen internal combustion engine, it doesn't have carbon, and it has a very low heat value. So the heating value of the hydrogen is very low. It can easily ignite. It has a very flash point, and it has a low density and low. The density is lower compared to other gases. It has a very low density. Therefore, it also has a low volumetry energy content. This volumetry energy content is the amount of energy per unit volume of the hydrogen. It also has a low weight. It has a low boiling point. It has a minimum ignition point than other gases. This means it has a minimum flash point. It can easily ignite to cause combustion in order to convert the fuel into heat energy. And the stoichiometric airflow ratio, it has a very high stoichiometric air ratio. This air ratio is the amount of air and fuel that comes into combustion to give out heat energy. So this ratio shows that a small amount of hydrogen requires much air than other gases. So this helps to control the fuel economy of the fuel. This makes it to have high stoichiometric ratio, high air volume for a given combustion. And it also have a quenching distance is low. This quenching distance is the distance at which the ignition takes place between the wall of the cylinder of the engine. Checking here, you see that it has a very low quenching distance. And the other one, it has a laminar flow high speed. It has a laminar flame speed in this engine is high. This one of the problems, this high flow compared to other fuel is one of the problem challenges faced by this engine. Due to this high flow, the mixture of this hydrogen combustion finds its way into the engine. And as it gets its way into the engine, combustion can take place inside the engine, which is abnormal. This is one of the major problems of this engine that the researchers have been trying so far to make sure that this problem has been addressed. And it also has diffusion coefficients there. It has high efficient coefficients. This diffusion coefficient is the speed of the air within the given distance inside the combustion engine. This also contributes to the flow of this water vapor and also this fuel into the engine. And this affects the engine due to the low ignition, the low boiling point, and self-ignition of this engine. When this fuel gets into the engine, it can cause abnormal combustion, which can lead to knocking of the engine, thereby affecting the performance of this engine. The emissions from hydrogen internal combustion engine. Before the invention of hydrogen internal combustion engine, the conventional internal combustion engines are well known for their environmental pollution. This is due to the combustion of the hydrogen carbon, because most of those fuels have hydrocarbons. Therefore, they have carbon. So whenever a combustion takes place in the engine, there is always a carbon out of it. And this carbons result to carbon monoxide, which is a harmful gases, which causes several diseases, and it has led to deaths of lives, and it has also affected the ozone layers of the air. So the combustion of this engine, hydrogen internal combustion engine, the combustion of hydrogen with air in hydrogen internal combustion engine gives water as the byproducts as shown in this simple equation. Also, the combustion of hydrogen with air also gives rise to nitrogen oxides as shown in this equation. Whenever the oxygen is burned to a very high temperature inside the hydrogen engine, it gives rise to more of this carbon nitrogen oxide. The byproduct of this engine is water, and this water vapor. So this water vapor tend to find its way into the engine. So as it finds its way into the engine, it affects the engine performance. It increases the frictional wear of this engine. It also contaminates and degrades the engine oil lubricant of the engine. So once the engine oil lubricant has been affected, the lubricating power of the engine oil will also be affected. And that will increase the frictional wear of the engine. So frictional wear is one of the major problems of this engine due to the nature of this water vapor inside the engine. And the tribology of the hydrogen. So it will be tribo systems directly exposed to hydrogen are critical in respect to essence frictional wear. This frictional wear, as Elias said, is as a result of this water vapor that finds its way inside the engine, also lead to high frictional wear of this engine. Also, it also contaminates the engine oil lubricant. As this engine oil lubricant is being contaminated, it also finds its way sometimes to the combustion chamber of the engine. Whenever it finds its way to the combustion chamber of the engine, the oil is being burned, will be burned. And once it's burned, so metallic particles will be generated from the engine. So these metallic particles that are being generated or produced, they are also very dangerous to human life. However, there are three inherent drawbacks, including essence nitrogen oxide emission, greater risks of abnormal burning. Then the third one that is not stated here is high frictional wear. So there's high amount of nitrogen oxide. This nitrogen oxides gets to come into place is being generated as a result of the combustion of this engine to a very high temperature. And the high risks of abnormal wear is as a result of the degradation of this engine oil inside, because the lubricating power of the engine oil has been reduced and it has been degraded. So the risks of this abnormal will be. So the fuel also, this abnormal fuel burning inside the engine, because hydrogen has, as we see from the property, it has a high division.
Yeah, congratulations for your presentation. Any queries on this presentation? Participants can unmute themselves and ask, or raise your hand or use chat box. Anyone else who have completed formalities waiting for their presentation available on the platform? Okay, then if there are no further presentations, we'll close the session for today. Thank everyone for joining us, and see you all tomorrow at the same time. We express our sincere gratitude, heartfelt gratitude to all the presenters and participants today. And see you all tomorrow at the same time at 6 o'clock. Take care. Good night. Tomorrow, there is an important announcement. There will be a quiz at 6 o'clock. Actually, initially we planned at 10 o'clock. But again, you have to join 2 times. So instead of that, we can take it up at 6 o'clock or after the session gets completed. All the participants who have registered for the conference are eligible to attend the quiz. We will share you quiz tomorrow. And the top 3 scorers will be given merit certificates. And those who are attempting the quiz will also get participation certificate subject to minimum qualifying marks. So tomorrow we will be sharing before session or after presentations. So kindly make a note of it, and we request everyone to join tomorrow in time. As per the feasibility, we will take up the quiz accordingly. It will take half an hour. The quiz will have around 20 to 30 questions, and each question which has to be completed. All the questions have to be completed within a span of 20 to 30 minutes. All these instructions will be provided tomorrow. So it's just, an activity for all of us. And all the topics will be related to environment only. And most of them are covered by various speakers in this conference only. So it will be very easy for everyone. You all can attempt the quiz and also win merit certificates. We will issue the top 3 scorers, top 3 rank certificates. And also those who are qualifying with minimum marks, they will also get additional quiz participation certificate. So this will be an additional certificate. So we request everyone to join us daily. Today is 6th day and we have 2 more days, Sunday and Monday. Monday would be the last date. For conference, those who are still awaiting to complete their formalities, we have request from presenters, but they have not yet completed the formalities. So we can give only tomorrow sometime because last day it would be hectic. So we request everyone, those who have not completed formalities, to complete it at the earliest so that we can schedule. Otherwise also no need to worry. Daily sessions are happening. So you can present in the different session on the same plan. Events keep changing. Either it will be a conference or seminar or a workshop or a symposium, or in most of the days it is webinar series. So you can choose accordingly. And the next event is on 21st June. We are having international seminar on yoga, health, well-being, spirituality and sustainable development. Anyone interested to present on any of these topics and related topics, you can find the registration link on the website. You can register for that. And if you are also interested to make presentations, you can share details as mentioned in the presentation guidelines. The presentation guidelines are same for all the events. The format is same. We have raised the overall feedback form for today. We request all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. So I once again thank each and everyone for joining us today, and see you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Take care. Good night. Feedback form is still active. You can access it from polls quizzes menu. Or if you can't see that, you can quickly log off and log in and complete the feedback.